Hi. What does it look like when you incorporate your philanthropic work with your music? Well, we're going to find out today because joining me on Spiritual Invitation is Debra Lynn Alt, and she's going to tell us about it. Now, Debra is a singer-songwriter, a blogger, a memorist, and a shamanic energy medicine student. She's also the author of the book, Each Moment We're Alive, a musical and photographic story inspired by cancer survivors. Debra, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Carla.
I'm so excited you're here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful book, and I can't wait to get into it. And you brought your guitar.
I did.
And you're going to sing for us. So
Absolutely.
It's going to be a fun time. Let's just dig right in. How did you start on your spiritual path?
My spiritual path began, from my sense of it, when I started meditating, when I was in college. And I've kept at it for, I have to say, about over 40 years now.
Good for you.
And it's something that has created a channel for me and a connection that has grown over the years in such a wonderful way. And it just helped me connect during turbulent times. And even great times. It's just a wonderful, steady place to be and go.
And you're pretty faithful to it then?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, not to say that I haven't missed it from time to time, but honestly, as life gets harder sometimes and the challenges are bigger, it's such a beautiful haven to be able to go to. And everything that I learn as I go along on my path, I'm able to bring into it on a different level and add to it and enhance it. And I just can't imagine life without that ability to be quiet in a peaceful way.
Now, would you call that your core spiritual practice, or do you have other spiritual practices?
I would say that is my core, but what I've cultivated now is every day, for the most part, I consider the beginning of the day to get going in the optimal way when I start with journaling, and that's another thing I've been doing for probably around the same amount of time. So I journal in a free associative way, and sometimes a little bit more proactively toward something I want to express. But mostly it's an expression and a freeing, and I feel that if I do that as soon as possible after I wake up, and I have consciously chosen to avoid turning on any screens and electronics, because I feel like this way I'm really tuning into whatever needs to be cleared and expressed. And it just feels so wonderful to be able to have that connection every morning.
Every morning.
And I can count on that.
Yes.
And then after that is when I do yoga stretches and yoga poses and asanas. Depending on how much time I have, I try to devote a fair amount of time to that. And then I go into meditation. And to me, that's such a wonderful segue, because I believe that yoga was designed to prepare our body to receive meditation, to receive spirit as you conceive of it, you know, just to let it in and for your body to be most receptive to it.
Yeah, it's a lovely routine you have in the morning.
I think of it as my 60-minute core practice, 20-20-20. That's what I aim for.
Oh, good for you.
Of course, it varies, you know, as life gets in the way.
Happens, but
that's my aim.
But that's your goal.
Yeah.
So tell me about the evolution of your songwriting, as you're a songwriter, for others.
Okay, well, when I started discovering that putting music and words together was about the most wonderful feeling I could imagine, I developed it over the years, and I started when I was young, and I had, as most of us do when we write through conflicts or work through conflicts, for me, one of the first big ones was the relationship I had with my dad. And I wrote a song for him, and it just cut through this amazing conflict that we had. And I sang it for his 50th birthday party. So I guess I was probably in my mid-20s. And it transformed our relationship. It transformed me in so many ways, because I saw how powerful it was. If you can express something and get to the core essence of your feeling, and if it's about love, in this case I called it Just Your Way, and it was about accepting someone that is not good at being able to express their love. And that's a very universal thing, particularly in older generations.
Sure.
And it was just such an amazing experience that I just kept on doing it through other relationships. And I wrote a song for my mom on, it might have been her 60th birthday. And then my parents were very philanthropic, and they were working at a child abuse agency. And one thing led to another, and they asked me if I'd be willing to write a song for this particular organization. And I was thrilled that my parents had asked me this. It was very validating that they saw the value of what I did with my music and writing. So I wrote a song called Born of Light, because that was how I perceived this precious energy of a child that is being abused and how people are trying to protect that. And it was just so exciting to write that and to sing it at this particular fundraising event. And then I decided that my first CD, which was produced around that time, would be dedicated to children. And I was a mom of, my daughter at the time was about 7 or 8. So I was very much in touch with the active journey of parenting. And I dedicated the CD to children and to following their hearts, and donations and the funds that came from the CD were donated to this particular organization. So that got me going. And then a woman heard my first CD that I had met, and she asked me and commissioned me to write a song for her because she wanted to create a song for her adopted daughter. She had just adopted her second daughter, and the first one she had written a book for and created a book. So
Isn't that lovely?
it was
what people think of.
I know, and she was a real adoption advocate, and I didn't really know much about. I didn't really tune in before that, but she was very passionate about being really upfront, which is now, I think, more of the natural way of things that people that do adopt. But at the time, it was still, she was still someone that was outspoken about it. So this song was for her daughter, Phoebe, and I ended up calling it In the Most Important Way. So what I try to do with my songs is find the essence of what someone would want to say. And I thought, if a mother wants to express to her daughter how much she's loved, then it's in the most important way, I'm your mother. So that was a wonderful experience. And then from there, things just happened, and it was the natural
it starts rolling, right? Because you're meant to do it.
9/11 happened, and I wrote a song from a parent's perspective of that called One Heart at a Time. And then I got involved with Habitat for Humanity, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, different ways that I thought I could help bring a voice to various causes.
To the different causes. This is really wonderful. Okay, so let's talk about your book.
Okay.
It's a beautiful book, Each Moment We're Alive. How did it come to be?
Well, it's a lovely story. I had a darling friend by the name of Monica Schwartzbeer, and I met her, and she was so passionate about everything. And in particular, she was leaving her job as a Hebrew school teacher. I met her actually when she was teaching my daughter. And she told her whole class that she was leaving because she wanted to follow her lifelong dream of being a wildlife photographer. I thought that was so cool that she was telling the kids this. And we got very close. And she came to me and when she had heard some of the songs that I had written. And it was several months after my father had died from cancer. And she asked me if I'd be willing to write a song for the Relay for Life committee. She was the chairperson. And as soon as she asked me, and that's usually how it happens, if someone asks me and my heart is in the right place, it's just, okay, that's next. So I set out to do it. And what evolved was the song, Each Moment We're Alive. And it's a song that affirms being alive in each moment, essentially, but from the perspective of being a cancer survivor. So she gathered her cancer survivor friends, and I talked with them, and I took notes, and I tried to bring their feelings and experience into words. And with the help of my musician friend, who I co-write with sometimes, Jeff Fuller, Each Moment We're Alive came to be, and then the book was a natural segue from the song, which I can tell you about too.
Yeah, so you had said to me that it was a good example of a songwriting project that just kept growing, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
So
really
in your
did.
book, you've combined the lyrics and her photography.
Right. So what we did was we had the idea, and unfortunately when Monica's cancer metastasized, and I kind of sensed that she wasn't very long for the world. I could just from what I had learned, she really wanted to leave a legacy, and I wanted to help her. So the idea came together of creating a book of her photography, illustrated by the lyrics, so that someone could turn the pages and look at her pictures and be listening to the song at the same time, and there would be a connection between that particular photograph and that lyric.
Yeah, and it's just beautiful. I mean, the result is just beautiful.
It's really a labor of love.
Yeah, you can tell, and I mean, it's just so creative, and of course, the book does include a CD with it of your songs. Now, it'll be a nice treat for us. You're going to sing.
Oh,
you know,
I'd be
one of
happy
your.
to.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
I'd be happy
yeah,
to.
And you brought your guitar.
And
this is the song.
This is Each Moment We're Alive. This is the first song on the CD that comes with the book.
Okay.
And it's, I've sung it at Relay for Life events and many different fundraising events. And the reason it's such a good example of a song that became a project is that there's a woman by the name of Cindy Sheridan Murphy who heard the song when she was looking for a soundtrack for a video she was making about her cancer story. Oh, wow. And we met and just instantly connected, and we've done workshops together, and she now, we just recently filed for a nonprofit called Each Moment We're Alive.
Oh,
so I'm really excited, yeah. And she does wonderful coaching for survivors and patients, and she's incredible. So people could find out about that on my website. I'm very, very proud of that because it just grew and blossomed from a real labor of love. So this is Each Moment We're Alive. Please don't offer sympathy. It's hard for me to hear how you feel sorry. Some say we're closer to a cure each day, but still my body turns away to betray me. What I really want is for you to know just what it is when my story's told that sustains me. It's a strength that somehow makes its way through all the words and a simple faith that I'll make it. Some say cancer cannot cripple love, shatter hope, or be anything but angry. When you work so hard to stay alive, you need a reason pushing you to strive to keep going. It's a message, it's a wake-up call, it's a plea to understand it all and find meaning. For the scary roller coaster ride and the hope that never leaves my side for long. In each moment we're alive, with every chance we let slip by. There's something to remind us why we're here. In each moment we're alive, and what it takes to have survived. The beauty of our presence is so clear. Counting off my milestones, count on friends and loved ones to stick by me. I'll keep holding on to miracles, or better still, the strength of will to beat this. I can't believe I went through all this pain. To say that it's been all in vain, it's changed me. Now I spread the word of what I know, what it means to take it slow and be grateful. For each moment we're alive, for every breath with every sigh, how the world will be so different from now on. In each moment we're alive, I want to feel my heart's desire, toss caution to the wind and reach beyond. In each moment we're alive, we Thank you. Thank you.
So we're going to wait for Rob. He was on the camera, and he just has to go back and do a little connection here. So to make sure that you can all hear us. Oh, we're good. Okay, so that was powerful.
Thank you. Well, there was
the topic is, yeah.
Beautiful inspiration behind it. You know, knowing what it is to be a caretaker and watch someone you love lose the battle, and knowing people that are here and dealing with it, and just holding on to that gratitude and that appreciation. And there's so much passion behind wanting to be able to give that voice some power and some music behind it. You know,
what is it about music that is really so universal, right? What is it that reaches people?
You know, I believe that we each need to be able to tell our stories, express our experience, and also be able to take it in from other people's stories and other people's perspectives. And music takes those important messages and carries them on a vibration that I think resonates to our heart like nothing else. And I think it's my attempt to explain the inexplicable. Yeah. You know, but I think that most people that can relate to that understand. Right. Maybe they would describe it a little differently, but
no. But there is something in the combination of the words to music that just I just start feeling it going in my heart. You know,
and I know that when I decided that that was something I wanted to be able to do, it was such a powerful motivation, because even though it's really hard work and sometimes you're really sweating it out, when it does come out, and sometimes it comes out really smoothly and it feels like it's channeled, and other times it's a laborious process with a lot of erasers and but boy, when they come together, it's like nothing else. It's wonderful. It's just such a gift, really.
Well, that was terrific. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
So what are you working on now?
Well, one of the things I'm working on, a couple of the other songwriting projects that I've done are in different stages of germination. I wrote a song recently for a friend of mine, Lisa Saunders, who is very actively involved in educating people about preventing CMV, which stands for cytomegalovirus. It used to be a very rare birth defect virus, excuse me. And basically I was inspired by her story. She had lost her 16-year-old daughter, and her 16 years were really rough also. So I wrote a song for her, and again the essence was Had I Known. And now we're working on a public service announcement, and I'm helping her to get the message out through the song. And I don't know where that's going to go next, but that's we just literally finished doing the basic editing. And there's some other songs like that I've written that are going into different stages of their production, I guess you could say. The Each Moment We're Live project is still growing because we just incorporated the non-for-profit, and we're also marketing it now to hospital gift stores and different trade shows, and I would love to get that book out there more.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm working on a memoir, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for many, many years, and I'm finally at the point where I feel like I'm ready. I have the working title is called Something to Sing About.
Oh, nice.
And I thought that what would make it a little different in this era of so many people writing memoirs is that I want to capture through my stories and through the challenges and the ups and downs of my personal life how I've found a way to create a reality that can help inspire people and move people and help them get closer to their highest selves, their spiritual selves, if you will. And each chapter will be a bit of a song that I've written, and instead of someone else's quote, it'll be a lyric snippet. And I just feel like there's so much unfolding as I begin to uncover the paths that I've taken to where I am now. And I hope it will be a really good read and something inspiring.
I'm sure it will be. And your music, the way you describe it, it sounds so spiritual, you know, because it's so connecting to you connecting to others.
It's really, oh, I can't tell you how much it means to me. When I sit down to do something that I'm inspired by, and inspire is defined by in spirit, when you break it down, and it really feels like it literally is carried by that feeling of, I want to do this, I want to touch someone, I want to reach people, I want to change someone's consciousness, I want to make them feel something, I want to make them do something to add more funds to the research or whatever the particular cause is. And I know that music has a powerful way of carrying that desire, and to tune into that, I've been given many gifts. I've sat down at the piano where I usually write, and things sometimes just come through me. I feel like, thanks, I mean, it really feels like you probably have that experience.
It does, wonderful. But everybody can have that experience.
Exactly.
If you connect in, whatever it is, when you're connected to your passion,
right.
and when you're giving to others and loving yourself and loving others, it starts to flow. It's like the gate comes up and the water starts to flow. And when you're on, I always say, when you're on your path, it's just the universe will not let you fail.
Absolutely. It literally has your back. And not only does it have it back, but it shows you signs and gives you little rewards a little along the way. Like, okay. It's wonderful when you tune in.
Yeah, it really is. I find, too, even if I'm feeling like a little down, like somebody will pay me a compliment about the show. And it'll be like, oh, okay.
Brings you back.
Yeah, brings you back. It's like, okay, I'll keep going.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep
That's
going.
what I do, too. If I'm feeling a little down or losing my way a little bit, I'll just pick up the guitar or sit at the piano and play one of the songs that I've written for someone else. And then I remember, or Lisa will send me a clip of the public service announcement that she wrote. And I think, wow, someone who has had such a horrible experience in life was able to recycle that and want to make a difference for other people. That just can lift you out of anything if you're open to it, And that was my experience from Mothers Against Drunk Driving, the people involved in that, and Habitat for Humanity. There's just so many ways that people can channel their energy to make the world a better place and to help, every little bit.
Right. Yeah. And I can see that, you're right. It's very, when you think of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, I mean, that's an incredibly, powerful, like, just inspiring.
I know, to think of what they went through.
Started with one mom, and then look what it's become.
I know.
Right?
I know.
Yeah.
It's changed the consciousness, and I think it's really instrumental in helping a lot of legislation change and support people for safety. It's a process, like all political processes, but it's really powerful.
Yeah, it is.
So that was another example where I tuned into a woman whose boyfriend had been killed by a drunk driver, and I interviewed her, and I just wrote the whole song through her perspective, called it More Than Remember. And because I thought that was the essence. We've got to do more than just remember our loved ones. We've got to take it the next step and change legislation, make things safer, and change the machinery in the cars. The
safety
ones
features, things like that. Yeah.
So
doing all of that.
Yeah, there's just so much. There's really so much.
So you've got your nonprofit, you've got your music, you've got. You are working on your memoir, and
I also write a blog just to keep connected with people that are interested in what I have to say, and hopefully that grows over time. And I do believe that, and one of my mantras or journey statements is about embodying the light, if you will, so that my creations unfold as they're meant to be and go where they need to go.
Yes, right.
So if I keep remembering that and going back to that, I don't get as caught up in, oh, is this important enough, or are people going to like this?
Is it going to succeed? Is it going to, if we get, I know.
Take my ego out of it, and it's, as you know, that can be challenging.
Yes, right.
Because we all have egos, and they need to be polished once in a while.
Right.
But it's a great reminder that ultimately, if you choose to be on the path of making a difference and bettering yourself in that process, then that's really, I think, the most important thing, is to tune into that.
Yeah, just being in tune to that.
Yeah.
This has been wonderful. We always end with the last question, which is, how do you define spirituality? which I feel like you've been doing like so lovely.
Well, it's a great question. I think spirituality, it's probably different for everyone, but for me, I know we don't have that much time, so I'm going to think of how to concise it.
Yeah.
For me, spirituality is making a conscious connection to what it means to have a breath and have a body in this world, and what I can do to make it the most effective and loving presence and being possible. To me, that's spirituality. Because that breath, to me, is spirit. That's what moves us, that's what connects us, and that's what carries the messages of love, you know, whether it's through music or our words, or whether we just have eye contact with someone in a store that's looking a little low and just connect with them and just remind them that we're all connected. I think it's a really wonderful practice. I do that when I go out and I want to just stay grounded. It just reminds me, just give a little extra moment of eye contact to someone that maybe could transform the way they're holding themselves in their day.
Exactly.
And be forgiving of people that maybe you'd be otherwise impatient with. Things like that. I think those are integral parts of living a spiritual life.
I agree.
So I aim to do that as much as I can.
I'm challenged. I try to challenge myself as well, because it's very easy if you have somebody checking you out and they're snippy and in a bad mood. It's very easy to react back, right? And instead, I try to just give a really big smile and just act like I don't see it, you know.
I can see you doing that.
You know,
totally,
I try. I'm not always successful, but you know, that's the practice, right? It's a spiritual practice, so we just keep practicing.
Yeah, and then when you go back to it, it's always like, you know, you can always regenerate from that place.
Yes.
You know, even if you lose your way for a little while and you don't like the person you came out to be in response to something that somebody triggered, then you can just go back to that, and it's there, like starting all over again, and it's fresh. And,
you reconnect.
Because it's the universal love.
Yeah. Debra, this was so fun. I really enjoyed having you on. Thank you
Lovely
for
to meet
that.
you.
It was very nice to meet you too. Now we're going to have Debra's contact information up on the screen in just a moment. You can watch this program again on your local TV channel. Just check your local listing. You can also go on my website at carlaaugustin.com where I have all the shows posted. And go on YouTube. We're there. Just type my name in the search box and all the past episodes come up. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll never miss an episode. I want to thank you so much for watching. This has been Spiritual Invitation. I'm your host, Carla Augustin, inviting you to explore spirituality.